Let's do that. So now let's move then to item 9. We'll come back to item 8 when you've got that further advice. So item 9, Parakiore Hydroslide accessibility. Let's again take the report as read. Are there any additional comments that staff would like to make?
No, I think the report lays all the information out. The points to highlight importantly is that advice from Atakaro that to make a change now to such an extent in terms of including a lift to the hydroslide would cause a delay to the project, and that would come at significant cost. So I think that's one important point that is highlighted in the report, and the only other one in terms of to highlight is that current operating standards, currently operating practices, rightly or wrongly, in the industry for hydroslides, water slides, they do not. The industry current practice is that people with disabilities that can't access the hydroslides via the stairs are limited from using those hydroslides, and the operating manuals and the operating recommendations that we receive from the manufacturers and suppliers. If we were to do that, we would be operating outside of those guidelines. As I say, that's rightly or wrongly. So if we wish to head down this road, we would need to establish a new operating standard and operating guidelines.
So looking at paragraphs 4.5 and 4.6 in the report, it's clear the slide manufacturer advised that the slides are not suitable for people with reduced ability, either temporary or permanent. So the slide facility itself is not manufactured for or intended to be used by people with reduced ability, either temporary or permanent.
That's correct. That's the advice from the manufacturer and supplier.
To a facility which is not intended for use in that way,
yes,
in itself could cause some additional problems, is the way I read that.
That's correct.
Thank you. Are there any further questions on this report? Aaron?
Yeah, that's, of course the manufacturers are going to say that. It's just like when you buy a toaster, it says don't put it in the bath.
Not just like that, no.
Okay, continue with the question.
The manufacturers don't want to take any responsibility for what may happen, but what I found interesting in this was that when we did the review, so 4.2, that there have been a number of design accessibility reviews that have not identified the inclusion of access to the hydroslide for customers in a wheelchair. How many did we ask? Because I've gone and spoke to people in wheelchairs that would actually quite like to use a hydroslide, and hands up everyone in the room that's gone and done that. People in wheelchairs use a hydroslide. Who's gone and asked? Anyone? Okay, have the staff, how many people in wheelchairs have the staff asked if they'd like to have...
Are you asking a question of staff?
Yeah, that's the question. I said staff have asked people in wheelchairs or done working groups, because every problem can be solved. Just by saying you can't climb stairs, you can't go on a hydroslide, is disgusting.
The report is exactly the opposite to that. The report is that part of the facility is not designed for and is not advised for use for people with reduced ability, either temporary or permanent. So it's not that the access doesn't exist, therefore they can't use that, they can't access and use that part of the facility. It's that part of the facility, and I quote from the report, is not suitable for people with reduced ability, either temporary or permanent. I'm reading that correctly, aren't I? I'll let staff answer the question.
That's the way the report's written, and Aaron, I think you're right as well. And I have asked and have gone to High Performance Parafed Federation and also Parafed Canterbury and discuss this issue with them. And you're right. There are people who are in wheelchairs that would use the hydroslides if it was accessible. The challenge we have as operators of the slide is that the manufacturers and suppliers have indicated that's not possible. So what my report does is actually recommend, if we want to go down this road, which I applaud you for pushing the issue, which we should, because I think the industry is actually probably wrong words, is covering their ass in terms of not allowing this to happen. So if we wanted to do that, let's work with the disability sector, and let's work with the industry to look at changing those standards. And so that's the recommendation number 2 in that report. Rather than charging the head and doing it, this is a change of practice. So we would need to do that, and that's highlighted in recommendation number 2.
That's good. Yeah. Well done.
All right, further questions? No further questions. Jimmy?
Review the 4.7. If this advice lift could be installed, then some of the build work will be demolition. So whether we need to apply for the building consent again or not.
The answer is yes from the project experts in the.
So we need to apply for a building consent.
Yes, you'd need to apply for the building consent. It's a new structure. You're adding a new structure to the existing. It would be a building consent requirement.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Further questions? No. Or Aaron?
Would it not cost a lot more to retrofit the lift than do it now? Like when you're
The structure's up,
partway through a building
Aaron,
and you make a change. It's a
The
lot.
structure's up. The cladding's on. The roof's on. The slides are getting erected now. The location of the, as per the report, the location of the lift tower would go in the southeast corner of the current stair tower, which is
all
erected. So if you do it now, you're going to be deconstructing the structure anyway. You've got building consent application. You've got design to get done, both architectural and engineering, and you've got a contractor that is chasing. He'll be chasing variations and extension of time claims, and we've had this discussion before. It's not an invitation you want to do with them.
Thank you. Leanne?
Would the most cost-effective time to implement a decision like this be developed right at the get-go? The establishment of the scope of the project as agreed between Otakaro and ourselves?
So yes, it is, and it was considered and was dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pauline and then Phil. Pauline.
But in the interest of time.
All right. Phil.
So just so I'm on the right track, in my view, finish it, get it done, and then it's only going to be about $30,000 to. Is that
30,000 is the investment in the concept design, so we can then get it costed.
So the actual build won't be 30 grand.
It will be significantly more than that.
Yeah.
30 is the fees
Just
to get a concept.
You haven't got any idea roughly.
And I push all of the consultants and the advisors on that, but until they've got a concept design in front of them and they know what they're dealing with, they were not prepared to put a number, and so therefore I can't do that either.
So to get it to the point of requiring a price is around about 30 grand.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you. Still with questions. Aaron.
Yeah, so when this come up one of the many times before, the last time I think may have been either November or December, we asked for the Mayor to write to the Minister for Disability to make them aware that this would not be an accessible facility. And what response did we get from the Minister?
So was there a resolution that requested that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just go through with that then. So there was a resolution.
Just to make the Minister aware that it wouldn't be, and if there was a cost change, that they may be involved or invited to at least decline the offer to make it accessible.
So has that occurred, and what was the result?
I haven't seen that resolution.
Well, they've
Sorry.
been on recess. You wouldn't have had a reply anyway from the Minister.
We haven't seen that either.
Okay.
I would need to go back to the minutes of that meeting, but certainly it's not a resolution that's been passed on to.
It's about design standards though.
Sorry, I'm not aware of the resolution and I haven't seen it, so I'd need to go back and find the resolution specific and what it says from a staffing
Yeah, the
perspective.
first step would be to find the resolution, see what it said, and see what was required for it to be implemented.
Yeah, the mayor was going to write directly to the minister
So,
to make her aware.
As an action, I'll take it away to find that resolution and then respond as appropriate.
Thank you. All right, so Pauline, you've indicated that you'd like to move this. Is there a seconder for the recommendation? Jimmy. All right, any debate? Pauline and then Aaron.
Look, I think what we do want is full accessibility for these sorts of services, yes, and everyone to be able to enjoy a hydroslide. But at the moment, the industry standards do not permit it. It's not about the building and our design or anything like that. It's the industry standards and the liability that is incurred if we don't get that right. So I really congratulate staff for engaging with Parafed and for putting in resolution number 2. And also for Aaron for raising it and pushing it so hard. And I think this is going to open the door for innovation and design from here. But right now, we are stymied by to be able to put anything in Parakiore here at the moment. So that is why I'll support the resolution today and watch this space and see what happens in the industry. Thank you.
Aaron.
Yeah, this is a pretty disappointing outcome. I will flag. Yoni and I have been raising this for a couple of years, so to keep getting told it's too late when there wasn't much built when we started raising it is pretty disappointing. Not surprised the industry don't have standards for disability because it doesn't exist, but we're a flat city with a mild climate and we want to make ourselves one of those places in the world that people with disabilities want to visit. Everyone has their favourite holiday destinations, and people with disabilities are one of those communities as well. And their money is actually called the access dollar, and Christchurch should be putting its hand up for the access dollar and welcoming those people to our city. We're about to get the best aqua facility in the entire country, and the most exciting part of it is not open to people with disabilities because they can't climb the stairs. There's a number of people that can't climb stairs. It's what the report says if you can't climb stairs, you can't use a hydroslide.
That's disingenuous.
No, that's the
Okay,
industry's
continue,
words.
Aaron, with the debate.
Sorry, I just had to straighten up the hecklers there. The thing is that that's a world we live in. It wasn't that long ago that the industry standards of the education industry in some countries didn't let people of different coloured skins go to school or go to university. So times do change. We could be a city at the front of it, not at the back of it. Yes, there will be a review done. It's just going to be surprising how in the 2024 long-term plan that we can then find the money to put a lift in the corner to use hydroslides you're not allowed to use because the industry says you can't use them. So what are we going to build a whole lot of new hydroslides as well? But we will solve that problem then, and we'll have a few years of where people with disabilities can't use hydroslides. And these will be the best in the country, and that's really disappointing that they open in this city, the best facility in the entire country, and there's a good proportion of our population that can't use it. Every problem can be solved. I recently worked on a mini golf course where I looked up the standards for mini golf for people with disabilities, and throughout the world you only get 9 holes. You then have to wave goodbye to little Timmy as you'll sit there and watch the rest of the family play the rest of the course as the family golf without them. And that's going to be the same here when you take your little brother, little sister, mum, dad or whatever to the pool, and they will sit at the bottom of the stairs and wave goodbye to their brothers and sisters as they climb the stairs to enjoy themselves in New Zealand's best aquatic facility. And is that the country you want to live in? It's not the city that I want to be part of. And I won't be going to the opening if it doesn't include people with disability.
Jimmy.
I support the staff. The recommendation is not, ignore all those disabled people to access the significant this facility, because we need to face the fact, particularly the paragraph 1 here mentioned. If we delay, regarding to this project, result in significant financial penalty. I think our fellow council, we are reluctant to see that this was the case. Also, if we review the paragraph 2, actually, we face this fact. So the staff, to working together with all those the disability sector, to complete this independent risk assessment. This to face the fact, working together as partners to resolve this the problem, etc. Last one, I look forward to this concept design can be completed as quickly as possible. Because based on council the strategic document, we are all aware, and also our strategic framework. Everyone, every person is equally to access council on all the significant those facilities. So because based on these three factors, I just support the staff recommendation to remediate this effect. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim.
Perhaps it's a letter to the Minister with regards to the extra to support retrofitting if it is agreed by the Council, but also the ongoing extra costs of staff, etc., assisting those that are using it. That's probably the more important letter.
Thank you. Yanni.
Thank you. I just wanted to just make reference to the fact that for those of us that knew Graham Condon, who was a complete pioneer in Paralympics and did so much as a city councillor too to promote this city being an amazing place for people of all abilities, that when the council in 2011 hosted the International Para Athletics, it was really put into a number of our minds that we could be the best place in the world for people of all abilities to enjoy. And so when we did our Central City Plan, a number of councillors gave the feedback that we didn't want to just meet minimum standards when it came to barrier-free or disability access. We actually wanted to be world leaders in it. We wanted to recognise the huge significance that we had as a city, both historically and going forward, with the opportunities it presented to be world-class so that people of all abilities could have a fantastic quality of life. And so I just find it really disappointing, as I think Councillor Kewen has raised, that all the way through this project, a number of us have raised, what are we doing around this issue? How can we make it world-class, not just meet the minimum standards? So, I feel quite sad that we're losing an opportunity here. I appreciate the advice that we've had back from staff, but the reality is that this city has a proud legacy of pioneers in the Olympic space and in the disability access space. And I think it's a real sadness that we can't reflect that in what is our major metro sports facility. Let's remember that this is replacing effectively what was at QE2, and Graham Condon was in large part key to getting that QE2 facility upgraded and leaving it as a legacy project before the earthquake. So just wanted to acknowledge that. I just find this incredibly disappointing. Thank you.
All right. Any further comments? Sarah.
Thank you. In many ways, I agree with both Aaron and Yanni, and making our city as accessible as possible for as many as possible is a core thing about what we should be doing as a council. What I find really disappointing about the process right now, though, is that this should have been done right at the beginning. So if either of them had raised and pushed this right at the beginning, council may have made a completely different decision. But raising it now, when they know that it's at a time when we can't do this work and we're stuck, I think is a little disingenuous. Thanks.
Thank you.
We did raise.
All right, so
Yeah, we did, Yanni.
I will put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against?
No.
That's carried. Thank you very much. Calling for a division. Okay, let's take a division. Thank you.
Okay. The Mayor?
David?
Yes.
Councillor Chen?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Turner?
Yes.
Councillor Chu?
Yes.
Councillor Coker?
Yes.
Councillor Cotter?
Aye.
Councillor Donovan?
Yes.
Councillor Davidson?
Aye.
Councillor Galloway?
Yes.
Councillor Goff?
Yes.
Councillor Johansson?
No.
Councillor Kean?
No.
Councillor McDonald?
Yes.
Councillor McClellan?
Yes.
Councillor Major?
No.
Councillor Scandrett?
Yes.
Councillor Templeton? Yes. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to 3. In favour.
So that's carried. Thank you. All right, now let's move on